Welcome everyone. My name is Susan Patterson. I'm a national leader in the fight against human trafficking. I have trained thousands of parents on what they need to do to protect their children from both sexual predators and human traffickers. Many speakers, youth groups, teachers, etc. have asked for my presentation so that they could adapt it for their own personal usage. At the website, throughgodsgrace.com, if you go to the Educational Resource tab and scroll down to the Prevention Strategy section, you can find the PowerPoint that goes with this video. This training for parents is divided into two parts. The first part outlines all the ways traffickers try to trick both children and adults. The second part outlines how to prevent victimization and how to talk to your child if you believe they're already engaged with an online predator. First, I'm going to provide the background for this video, then I'll be doing the presentation in the order that the PowerPoint presents. For now, I just want to say, I hope to God that you don't think your son or daughter is too smart to be tricked by a sexual predator. These predators participate in online chat rooms in the dark web made up of thousands of predators who share what works to trick a child. Do you really think your child is smarter than a gang of adults who have years of experience tricking children? It is really important that you get together with all the parents of your children's friends and the children themselves and show them videos like this one so everyone understands how sexual predators approach children. If a girl has fallen in love with an online boyfriend that she doesn't think her parents will approve of, she won't tell her parents, but she will tell her best friends, showing them all the texts and the gifts she may be getting, and they will ooh and ah over it, and she will love that attention. In one case, a boy told the mother of his friend that her daughter was talking to someone online and that her daughter was planning on running away with that online predator. He saved that girl's life. The reason why he was able to do this is because his church had provided a video like this one for the parents. We need to remember and have compassion for the fact that there's no one more determined than a 13, 14, 15-year-old girl who thinks she's in love. It takes real skill to talk to them because the last thing they want to hear from you is that the love of their life is a fraud. It will break their heart, and you need to be ready for that. I did this presentation for a church, and at one point, a teen in the audience started weeping. Her parents knew she had been talking to a predator, and she had already tried to run away once, and she was planning to run away again, and they could not deter her. They were scared to death. These were parents who did not think a 14-year-old should have a cell phone, but as often happens, she met her online predator on her friend's computer when she was at her friend's house. And then the predator himself sent her a phone where they continued to communicate. After hearing my presentation, where I went into how the predator will text the child 50 times a day professing their love, and how special that teen is to them, and how beautiful they are, she understood that she had been used. She was devastated. However, once she healed, she became an advocate, telling all her friends to only talk to people they know in real life. And even if they do know that person, if anyone asks them to do something they're uncomfortable with, they should run. Even if as a parent you think you know all the way predators try to trick minors, I highly recommend that you watch this entire video, because what I've found is that many parents know about online solicitation, but they don't know what happens at malls, parties, etc. It is important that you do know all the different methods, because if you let your child know in advance, then when it happens, they won't be so gullible. For instance, If they're already talking to an online predator and that predator tells them that he needs to send them a second cell phone so their conversations can be private, a bell will go off in their head that maybe this person isn't real. If your child doesn't know that this is part of the process, then they will accept whatever the predator tells them. And let's not forget about our boys. There is a huge market for boys, for the homosexual and bisexual community. And they don't care what gender your son may identify with. Also, if you're an advocate type, then please see this video on how we stop pedophiles from victimizing our children. One of the things this video talks about is the aggressive campaign by the pedophile community to be recognized as a gender identity, so they have all the rights and privileges of being a recognized gender identity. They refer to themselves as MAPS, minor attracted person, and this distinction is now being taught in colleges. Unless we take time to educate ourselves on this and take action to stop them, their movement will grow. The damage that the pedophile community is doing to minors is horrifying. Without further ado, let's begin the parent presentation that I use. For those of you who are speakers, you can go to my website and download the PowerPoint and just follow along. The brain is not fully developed until the age of 25, and the last part of the brain to develop has to do with long-term consequences. What all this means is that no matter how responsible your child may be, you can't always trust them to make good decisions. Parents with smart or good kids have sometimes thought they don't need to be so vigilant, only to have their child disappear because they're so naive. This presentation will cover two types of predators. One type are the pedophiles, who trick children and teens for their own personal use for sex and child porn. The pedophiles also buy victims from the sex traffickers. Many in the pedophile community are in the business of obtaining child porn through the process of sextortion, which is a growing problem. These are the porn traffickers. In addition to the predator community who tricks children for their own personal use, the second type of sexual predator is the sex traffickers who trick children so that they can sell them. There are three main approaches that the predators use. One is romance, the other is money, how much money they can make, and the third is force, where they're literally kidnapped. Let's look at the vehicles that the predators use for these approaches. First is social media. According to the FBI, there are over 750,000 predators online going after your children. Since children want to be popular, what happens is this. They could be on Facebook or Instagram or any of those social media apps, and they will get a pop-up that says, you know so-and-so, maybe you know their friends. They will click on every single one so they can boast to their friends that they have thousands of friends on these media apps. I was at a presentation one time that a police officer did, and he walked up to a 15-year-old, and on each side of her were her parents, and he asked her, do you use privacy settings? And she said, of course. My parents insisted I do that. And her parents smiled from ear to ear. Then he asked her how many friends she had. She said 7,000. You should have seen the look on her parents' face. Of those 7,000, how many predators do you think were in that group? All the predator has to do is take a picture of a teen and claim that that's who he is, and now he's talking to thousands of teens. There are 11-year-olds with followings of hundreds of thousands of people. Do you really think that many people are interested in their cat videos or the latest shoes that they bought? If your answer is yes, then you don't understand the nature of a child predator and how much money they can make off of child porn. Does your child have an online profile? Within minutes of going online with any app, Children are often solicited sexually by a predator who will use graphic language. 1 in 5 children are solicited sexually while online before the age of 18. This is according to the National Children's Alliance nationwide child abuse statistics. However, only 20% will tell their parents. Predators may pretend to be a child using voice-changing software. This mainly happens in children's games. This way, children will feel safe to meet up with their online friend who they think is their age. Parents need to keep in mind that anyone can sign up to play a child's game and claim to be any age. Parents may be vigilant about watching their teen daughters, but they think nothing of their young children uploading a song to TikTok. Once this happens, a pedophile will find them and tell them how much they love their song, which begins the grooming process. Then they start asking them for innocent pictures, and then they ask them for more graphic pictures. Then the child is blackmailed if they refuse to continue to send pictures. The predator threatens to hurt them or their family or send the pictures they already have to the whole world. The shame these children experience is unimaginable. According to Opal Singleton, this is happening to 9,000 children a day in the U.S. According to a research study from the University of Toledo, Ohio, it states that more than half of young people being blackmailed will attempt to meet up with the predator to negotiate the return of the photos before they will ever tell a parent or a school official that this is happening. Yes, this is horrifying, which is why we all need to make sure that a presentation on the sextortion of minors is being done for youth groups and at schools. Opal Singleton's film is entitled Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. About half of all minors who are sextorted are boys who are catfished by a male posing as a hot girl or boy. They may contact them through their games and send them a naked photo and then ask the boy for a naked photo. Once that boy sends them a picture, they will start getting disgusting sexual solicitations from predators from around the world. You need to let your children know that if they do anything stupid or are tricked, you will protect them. They can come to you. You won't judge them. So now let's look at the strategic marketing plan of the human sex trafficker. Their main goal is to trick a person to becoming a sex trafficking victim for money. Enslaving people has now become big business. A sex trafficker can make as much as $300,000 a year off of one teen. A minor who has been tricked or seduced into prostitution is always considered to be a victim of sex trafficking. They love sexting, which is the new way of flirting where sexy pictures are sent back and forth. All a predator has to do is act like a teen in order to find a teen to trick. This usually takes the form of them pretending to be a hot-looking guy going after a girl. I have told teens that all a predator has to do is Google hot, sexy guy and use one of those pictures. The response from the audience has been, I never would have thought of that, from many teens. That's how naive they are. The sex traffickers are smart, and they know that minors will trust someone close to their age, which is why they pay teens to be their recruiters. These recruiters are often someone the child knows. They are online, where teens hang out, and on many school campuses. Many studies have found that over 70% of teens have been recruited by someone they know. The most common ploy is, you're already doing it anyway, you might as well get paid for it. The child predators and human sex traffickers love modeling chat rooms. They will promise to make your child a star. Who can resist that? Which brings us to the second most common ploy, which is money. Both men and women are used for this. They show the child all kinds of bling, like the latest cell phone, and tell them 15 minutes, $50. Remember, their brain is not fully developed until 25, so there are concepts like respecting our bodies that may be more difficult for a child to grasp than an adult. The traffickers we have interviewed in prison have told us that once they have gotten a minor to have sex with a stranger once, after that it becomes very easy. Make sure your child knows that they will never see the money. If they want to leave, they'll threaten to hurt them and they will not pay them. Teens need jobs and the traffickers know this, so the promise of a job is another tactic. Make sure you monitor any jobs that your children may want to try to apply for. If it's a known entity like Target or Best Buy, that's fine. If you never heard of the company, you should go with them to the interview. Remember, anyone can create a great website. Beware of flyers posted at schools offering jobs. At one high school in Los Angeles County, over the PA system on a Monday morning, the teens were warned that the flyers they had seen around school were not real jobs, but human trafficking. It is important that school officials check on anything they see posted at schools trying to attract children. The third approach is guerrilla pimping. Gangs use guerrilla pimping, meaning force. They might threaten to kill the child's family if they don't become their victim. Drugged and videotaped or kidnapped from parties is another form of guerrilla pimping. The teen is drugged and then taken upstairs to be videotaped while they're being raped and then blackmailed into becoming a victim by the trafficker, who threatens to send the video to everyone on their contact list if the child doesn't comply. Women are often used at these parties to trick teens because we tend to be more trusting of women. Often the person putting drugs in the child's drink is a girl around their age who chats them up. They show them all their bling or beautiful clothes and tell them they just need to talk to their boyfriend, who can tell them how they too can have all this nice stuff. Some of the signs that your child may be in a relationship with a predator is that they are tired all the time. They keep to themselves, or they're moody. However, these could also be signs of drug use. The more concrete examples are, all of a sudden your child shows up with a lot of jewelry, they're getting their hair done a lot, but the biggest indicator is a second cell phone. You may even find a plane ticket. Whether or not you think that your child is talking to a predator, it's important that you see part 2, which covers all the tools you can use to prevent exploitation of your child and how to talk to your child if they are engaged with an online predator. Do be careful about scaring your child too much so that it drives up their anxiety. We don't want them having nightmares. We want them to be vigilant, not paranoid. Reassure them that if they're only talking to people they know in real life and refuse to do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable, even if a friend asks them to do it, they should be okay. The most important thing is to tell an adult, even if they feel that they did something stupid. Just make sure they know that if anyone asks them to have sex for money or is a lot older than they are and wants to have sex with them, even if it's someone they know, they should run. Please do support our work by subscribing to this channel and liking and sharing this video and leaving great comments. Thank you for watching.